needless to say, this dickhead is on Bartiromo's show. Because that's like the only place he can still go where people aren't like, hey, this motherfucker. And I guess she's just all in on selling the shit. But Republicans have exposed a lot of smoking guns in the Biden business probe. Yet, no, they haven't. Not a fucking one.
On the East Coast. Time for the hot topic of the hour. Happening on Capitol Hill today. Former Hunter Biden business partner.
Boring. When did the 10% for the big guy thing happen? After Biden was no longer in office. When did this asshole work with Hunter Biden? After Biden was no longer in office. When did he meet him and interact with him? The one time, the whatever 8-month window where he was no longer in office and he wasn't actually running for office after that point. So, yeah, yeah.
Partner Tony Bobulinski will give a closed-door testimony in front of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees.
We already know what he's going to say.
This is part of the impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Bobulinski worked with Hunter Biden to create the joint venture Sinohawk Holdings with Chinese energy company CEFC.
Yeah, we know. He's the guy who brought the deal. The deal that never happened. The deal that ended up being smoke. He's the guy who brought up the 10% for the big guy. He's the guy who was always pushing it in this direction. It fell apart. He got fired. Nobody wanted to work with him anymore because he was a bullshit artist.
He claims he met with Joe Biden in 2017.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Who was president in 2017? Who was president in 2017?
He told me he met with Biden many times. And
I don't care how many times he met with him after he was out of office and before he was back in office. Who gives a shit?
A statement to Fox News Digital back in December, Bobulinski demanded President Biden stop lying. This is, in fact, what he told me directly. He said to me, stop lying about the meeting. Call on him to correct the record. James Biden is set to appear for depositions next week, and Hunter Biden is expected on February.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck, dude. This asshole, and again, this is one of those situations where this asshole was trying to, like, sell access that he thought he was going to have that he didn't actually have. So everywhere he goes, Tony Bobulinski is telling people, I got the inside scoop. I'm working with Hunter Biden. His dad's the former vice president. We got connections all through the Middle East and all this kind of stuff or whatever. Put your money with me and I'm the dude. And ultimately it turned out to be bullshit. He was a bullshit artist. And he bullshitted it like he made himself bigger than he was and all this other stuff. And then they stopped working with him and he didn't have any of those connections. And now when he goes around to people, everybody who used to work with him is like, oh yeah, you're the dude with the Mr. Connections over here. Well, yeah. Hey, it's Tony Connections Bobulinski, everybody. Hey, got any connections with the valet? Get my car brought up faster? That's what he's pissed about.
28th. Todd, we'll see what we get from these depositions, but of course the Oversight Committee has already exposed money in the millions that the Biden family has taken in from China.
And as you know, when
all right, so Bobulinski and Archer, I guess, took in more than that, and also they didn't. Well, never mind. We've discussed this.
You've spoken with people working this case, let's call it.
Case. That's adorable. Arlingi Chi. Oh, yeah, like, is that the year? Arling Ling Yi.
They all point to Tony Bobulinski as the linchpin. And why is that?
Because the linchpin, their whole argument happened in 2017/18?
Is because when you look at all the players involved in the Hunter Biden / Joe Biden scandal,
scandal? What's the scandal? I think the scandal might be that this guy, Tony Bobulinski, was selling access he didn't actually have. That might.
Democrats do have some wiggle room, albeit limited, to question certain people's credibility and put them on the stand, quote unquote, as witnesses. Tony Bobulinski, you can't do that.
Sure you can.
Here is somebody who has said repeatedly, I am doing what's in the best interests of my country.
So Tucker Carlson says that, and he's an asshole. Your network, the network you're on, fucking fired him.
He is not compromised. He's almost like those two IRS whistleblowers.
No, he isn't. They took an oath.
You could say, like, what was your motivation for coming forward? What was in it for you?
Because everybody knows he was lying about the access that he had, and so now he has to say, I did have access there. They offered me access. I wasn't selling bullshit. They bullshitted me. I wasn't a liar. I was just gullible. And I was gullible because of because the vice president was the former vice president was a huge business opportunity for me. Nobody can figure out why, but sure.
Nothing in it for those two whistleblowers. There's nothing.
Sure it was. They were Trumpies.
In it for Tony Bobulinski. Only the truth. And that's what.
Yeah, that's what Tony Bobulinski's always been after in his whole life. That's why he started the arrangement of the Chinese deal to buy an American gas refinery.
Makes Tony so dangerous to the Democrats.
Well, I mean,
you're adorable.
This weekend, somebody suggested to me that Tony Bobulinski has more recordings. And he's got an on tape of him actually talking with President Biden, then Vice President Biden, about various deals that they were going to do. So we'll see if he actually...
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he's got them. You know what? I'm sure he's just been waiting for the right time, Maria. He's just been waiting for, like, he just forgot he had these discussions from the year after Biden left office. Sorry, I started to smell almonds.
Talks about further recordings that he has that this person said he has been saving for a rainy day, Kelly.
I'm just saying it has rained a couple of times in the last 3 years.
For a rainy day. Well, we're certainly having one today in New York. So listen, I'm very curious to read.
Way to bring it home. Way to lock it up. Yeah, it's good. Biden alias emails Ukraine trips and Hunter's business partner. Yeah, that's not a thing. Mystery person and back and here and back and we're walking and we're stepping back and we're forward. Now we're cha-chaing. Okay, I'm serious.
The transcript from this interview, because we have heard from associates of Hunter Biden, and there hasn't been that smoking gun.
Yeah, that's that excellent point. There really hasn't been.
Okay, so maybe this is the linchpin.
Hold on. What do you mean there hasn't been that smoking gun?
There hasn't been the smoking gun that ties President Biden.
She means when she says there hasn't been a smoking gun, the video's that loud? Sorry. Hey, check. Is my mic low, and is that the thing? Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay.
Biden to receiving money. There hasn't been that direct tie.
Well, there were emails that President Biden had, about 50 emails around the time he traveled to Ukraine with Eric Schwerin, who is Hunter Biden's partner. So why would the president have direct emails with the money guy of Hunter Biden's business and then say,
because his son was an addict and the guy was helping him get his life back in order?
He has no knowledge of anything.
Because he used to be the president's financial advisor, and he said, can you help my son out? Because he worked for his dad before he worked for the son, because they were trying to make sure, because he's got grandkids, that he could actually feed them. And
so that could be a smoking gun. Another one is all these emails that say 10% for the big guy. Then there's the witness testimony.
You mean the ones that Bobulinski wrote?
There's that as well.
Yeah, these aren't smoking guns. None of this. That's the point she was trying to make, is that in looking for smoking guns, there have been no smoking guns. That would be the thing.
$20 million in payments from foreign sources. So I have a problem with you saying there's no smoking gun, because I think the Republicans have exposed a lot of smoking guns.
I think that that's fair to point those things out. But when you say the big guy, right, we can all go, okay, wink, wink. I know who the big guy is.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is this is May 13th, 2017. And that's a holiday in in my family, I don't know about you guys, but that is National Who Gives a Fuck Day. Because it's 2017. Who gives a fuck?
But when you say the big guy, right, we can all go, okay, wink, wink, I know who the big guy is.
But the 2017 date is the hard part.
But I think Hunter Biden, I have to give him credit, has been very careful about not saying my dad, the president. And so that's where I say there's no smoking gun, because I think it's going to take a lot to get voters and for this impeachment process to fully go through and to really hang.
Todd, you reported something on your show earlier today, and you showed a text from James Gilliar to Tony Bobulinski, I believe it was.
Correct.
And James Gilliar said something like, what? Don't discuss.
Exactly. They don't want you to discuss this. They don't want it to get out there. And when you know what Bobulinski said?
Let's be clear what the text said. The text said something that don't.
Hang on. When is the text from? Also, fix your fucking mind.
Discuss Joe's involvement.
Right. And I believe
because he doesn't have any, and it will be fraud.
Underlying premise of that was like, they don't want that to get out.
Well, then how do you sell influence if you can't bring up the involvement of the person that supposedly you're selling the influence of? How do you sell a deal? Fuck me. How do you sell a deal and go, we got the inside scoop. We got a guy who's he's our business partner, if you know what I'm saying, over here. All right. And in the process of I don't want to say who, but I think we all know who it isn't. With the process of elimination being what it is.
Tony Bobulinski said they shouldn't want that to get out. And it underscores.
What the fuck is this? I'm dead serious. Really? Oh, the video clip is loud still? I turned it down. Sorry. I'll turn it down even further.
The whole thing. I don't want to have beat up on Kelly Day. I will just say there are a lot of people in prison for a lot less.
Bullshit.
When they didn't have quote unquote smoking gun evidence.
Nonsense.
When you put all of the evidence together.
No. And by the way, none of these people who are, through some pile of circumstantial evidence got them in jail or whatever. None of them are there for financial crimes. Financial crimes, very distinctly, honest to God, they kind of need a smoking gun. They kind of need a check. They kind of need a payment that's directly under the table, or some Menendez gold bars or shit like that.
Again, there are people in prison. There are people.
No, they're not.
Who are convicted for.
Name one, motherfucker. Name one. This is Fox Business. You don't think somebody on that panel can't think of a high-value target that was taken out by the Justice Department for financial crimes that's in jail because of, without any specific financial crime, tied to them. I mean, arguably, Trump's getting a fucking pass. He's just going to lose his business license and pay a fine.
A lot less.
You mean like Weisselberg?
And so, yes, we all want this actual smoking gun.
Yeah, but there isn't one to be had.
To use a Boston word, irregardless, you don't need it. There's enough here in
you do.
My estimation. And I'm done beating up on Kelly.
Do you think that's it?
I do.
But the Democrats keep saying that and the media keeps saying that there's no smoking gun, despite the fact that every day James Comer comes on this program. In fact, I spoke with James Comer on Sunday Morning Futures. Let's hear from the chairman of the Oversight Committee. Here's what
Yeah, because God knows he's always exciting and has new information that will. This takes the case into a whole new direction.
he told me Sunday.
We need to know exactly what the Chinese were paying the Biden family members for. And I think
It was a deal to purchase a natural gas refinery. Never went through because the Chinese refused to set up a business inside the United States that would be subject to American business rules, and that's why it fell apart. And whenever you do a big deal like that, whenever the ball starts getting rolling so that everybody's not wasting their time or they don't get left holding the bag financially because they're setting up deals in their own country, you have to put some money in an account and it sits there until it's dispersed after the deal either happens or doesn't happen. And that's exactly how this played out. This is not even weird. What I want to know is, what the fuck is with that piece of property your brother and you punted back and forth so you didn't have to pay taxes?
We've seen now, with all the evidence that's played out, they weren't paying Hunter Biden for his brilliant mind. They sure as heck weren't paying Jim Biden for his brilliant mind. We want to know what the Chinese expected of the Bidens and what exactly the Bidens...
Well, there's a deal. You can see what actually happened.
Delivered.
Do you believe that Tony Bobulinski has more recordings of discussions that he had?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, if 11 Labs is trustworthy, sure.
That he's been holding on to for a rainy day?
I don't know. That's something we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. Who could say, really?
Been treated very poorly by the Bidens. They've attacked him.
Why? Because he's a creep and he's been selling access? Hold on one second. Yes? Chudley? Where'd you go? Hi? Can I help you? Hi? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm doing a show. And you're out there, you're wailing. Do you need some help? Did you just go to the bathroom and you need a ride back upstairs because the basement floor is cold and on your little tootsies? Is that the problem? Is that the problem, Mama Judd? Is that it? One moment, please. All right, kiddo. There we go. She came in and she was walking around my feet, and then I was like, where'd she go? And then I could just hear her meowing, and I'm like, oh, okay, she wants a ride back upstairs. It's the thing about doing a show from your mom's basement. It's rough. It's just rough. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, I got it.
You can interview Tony Bobulinski and you get a picture of what those of us on the Oversight Committee have been through. We have been obstructed. We have been harassed. We have been intimidated.
Boo fuckity who?
By the way, Rob Walker, another partner in the Hunter Biden companies, told investigators that Joe Biden attended a meeting where he, Hunter Biden, and their other business partners, the chairman of CEFC, were having lunch. Walker says he did not know the exact date, but said it was probably in 2017 and that he...
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. These guys always manage to find the 8-month window where he's no longer in office and he's not running at all. And just thread it right through here where he's just going to retire. He's just going to go into private business afterwards or whatever. Do business deals, help us out, whatever it is. This fucking big. Jesus Christ. He came by his son's lunch and said hi to everybody when he no longer had any legal limits on why and how he could do that? What the fuck?
Was certain Joe Biden was out of the office as VP at the time.
I'm fine. Maybe we could do something about it, you know? Build up our immune system. You know, a couple of push-ups and you never have to deal with James Comer ever again.
He also said that Joe Biden was not there for the entire meeting, but
he just brought the smoking gun and dropped it off. Jesus Christ. I wish the whole thing was like he just walked in and dropped a smoking gun on the table and went, check this shit out. This is what you get to do when you're VP, bitches. Thud.
Purpose was to discuss ways we can work together.
Hey, and he magically just leaves the meeting when they're talking about the important stuff. And I just think just the blatantness of like how many people do you know deal with energy companies in China and Ukraine the way Hunter Biden does. It's just like it's all.
You're kidding me, right?
in front of our face, so blatant, the kind of influence peddling that's going on right now. And
how do you peddle influence when you no longer have influence to peddle, dumb fuck? How?
It just seems like we can't somehow, indict him for it. I don't understand it.
Well, the House.
Well, because there's no crime. There's no criminal activity. And ethically, he's in the clear too, because he was out of office and he wasn't running. There was nothing. You have nothing. It's fucking nothing. Jesus Christ. It's nice to know this has never changed. It's been 3.5 years of this shit.
House Oversight Committee said that it can, quote, now confirm Joe Biden met with nearly every foreign national who funnels money to his son. Kelly.
I mean, it is beat up on Kelly.
Nearly?
He said he has no idea.
So, sorry, Biden met with chairman of Chinese energy firm Hunter, did business with in 2017. Again, Trump got $5.8 million from China while he was in office. He got $15 million in cash out of his fucking bank account that had never had $700,000 in his fucking Chinese bank account. Are you out of your fucking mind? The Chinese bank ran their business out of Trump Tower. The Russian mob ran a human trafficking and drug smuggling ring out of Trump Tower. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, and I hear you. Yeah. I think just journalist capital J here.
2017, the year of who gives a fuck.
Or if I'm thinking of myself sitting in maybe a trial, right? There needs to be that incontrovertible evidence where I can say, well, I'm going to have to convict the president of the United States. I'm going to have to do this. And I think it just, to do that, I hear you, Todd, on the fact that there are so many people.
Hunter Biden complained that he was paying all the bills for the family at one point.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's a reference to the fact that his dad made him pay half of his salary while he was working at a fucking hot dog stand or whatever he was doing in college because he was living at home. You have to pay rent. You're now an adult. You live in home and you're going to school. This is how we run things in this family. You got to pay rent. You got to contribute to the fucking house. Joe Biden was not a rich member of Congress. So his son had a job. Instead of paying it, getting an apartment or whatever, he was living at home. So you got to give half of what you're making from your job for that. I'll pay for your school. Your lodging is taken care of. You're fine, but you're gonna kick into the house. That's what he was talking about. He even like the whole family says this. This is so stupid. Also, how did these motherfuckers not know this? I mean, I guarantee she doesn't. I don't think she cares either way because again, this is still not evidence. Again, we're talking something that happened, like an argument that happened in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, maybe. But like these assholes have to have at least glanced at that, right?
Hunter Biden's paying all the bills.
Okay.
And he's getting the money.
Why is he, if he's paying all the bills, why does he have to pay his father back for the truck payments? Why did he have to pay back the truck payments? Because why? And
he's paying like construction bills for his father.
That just magically happens. I pay all my father's bills. Can I just make one final point? Because I know we got to go, Maria. I think it's really interesting about these extra tapes. And it shows that Tony Bobulinski is playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. It shows how dangerous he is to this Democrat narrative. All
right. Yeah. Again, this is this guy's favorite word, that somehow Bobulinski is dangerous to the whole thing. No, he isn't. He's not going to say anything new. There is no way he has recordings that he's been hanging on to this whole time just in fucking case that he didn't pull out years ago or last year or fucking the year before. Get the fuck out of here.
Again, we haven't heard from Tony in a while following the 2020 election. He's a big deal. There's a reason he's on the Hill today. I don't think I can
Yeah, because Comer thinks he makes it sound dirty, and he was part of the email exchange that said the big guy, because that's how he and the other dude talked about Joe. It's not how Hunter did.
Score that enough.
All right, we will leave it there. Todd, great to have you this morning. Thank you so much. Todd Pyro, we're just getting started this and on the East.
Yeah, that guy. I gotta have an online conversation with that fella. Because he can't be that dumb. Maybe he can. Maybe, yeah. You know what? I take it back. Of course he can. Of course he can be that dumb.